when planets exchange, they share their energy. When Mars-Jupiter exchanges, it brings together discipline and power with hope and purpose. So check this out. So planetary exchanges are one of the most powerful relationships that you can see astrologically when they join, or I'm sorry, when they exchange, when you have one planet in the sign of another planet and vice versa, they share energy. Now what happens when they share the energy is not only does their energies as a natural indicator mix with the other and exchange back and forth with it, but also the houses that the planet rules from any given ascendant also becomes joined with the other. So, for example, when you get Mars in the sign of Jupiter and Jupiter in the sign of Mars at the same time, they exchange. So if you get Mars in Pisces or Sagittarius and Jupiter in Scorpio or Aries at the same time, then you'll get an exchange. Now, Mars and Jupiter are friendly with each other, which means they share a lot in common. So that's a very friendly exchange. It aligns the courage and discipline of Mars and the willingness to fight for what we believe in with the inspiration, purpose, and hopefully good teaching and guidance of Jupiter. They, they wind up exchanging with each other. And of course, if they're in each other's signs, they're also going to be powerful to exchange with each other because, again, Mars in the sign ruled by Jupiter will be powerful. Jupiter in the sign ruled by Mars will be powerful because of the same principle. Now, sometimes you get planets that are inimical with each other exchanging. Even in that case, they still, magnify the things that they agree on, but they just don't agree on as much. Like, let's say it's Mars and Mercury in each other's signs. They'll still share the things they agree on and make them stronger, but then there's also a lot more points of disagreement. So there'll be a lot more stress as they fulfill their goals. But the thing that happens when the planets exchange is it really sort of glues together the indicators of those two planets as well. So if it's in someone's natal chart, then you'll see whatever the houses are that Mars and Jupiter rule also come together very powerfully. So it's not just the principles of courage with Mars and teaching with Jupiter, but also, let's say, for instance, if it was a Gemini person, Mars rules the 6th and 11th house, and Jupiter rules the 7th and 10th house. So all four of those houses will be mutually supported by the exchange, right? So you'll have a relationship between the 6th and 7th house and 10th and 11th houses. All those things will be supported by the exchange because the planets will work together to support those things. If it's, let's say if it's Leo, then it's the 4th and 5th houses and the 8th and 9th houses. If it's a Mars-Jupiter exchange, because Mars and Jupiter rule those four houses. So, of course, you'll see that the principle of Mars and Jupiter work together, but also the houses they rule from any given point in the chart will also be held together very strongly. And again, you want to remember that when the planets disagree, when they don't share as much in common, like, let's say like Venus and Jupiter, where Venus is about worldly happiness, personal pleasure, compromise, and Jupiter is about teachings and gurus, and in some ways being focused on like one goal. Again, they'll share the things that they agree on, which might be something like, they're both generous, they're both sort of teachers, but they teach very different things. So the way they teach will be problematic, will create some inner conflicts. But the mutual goals will be strongly supported with the Jupiter-Venus exchange, again, because of the exchange. So that sambandha is very important. And when it happens by transit, when you get Jupiter and Mars exchanging by transit, for example, the way we see it at the end of December 2018, we see that Mars and Jupiter are exchanging. Jupiter is in Scorpio and Mars is in Pisces. So again, these are two water signs. They're about strengthening emotional reactions to things. That's the way the sign of Scorpio is. When you put its ruler in Pisces, then it brings that courage to explore those more metaphysical realms, which is the nature of Jupiter. Because Jupiter rules Pisces, which is the more metaphysical quality of expansion and of Jupiter, but it also rules Sagittarius, which is the more kind of religious, dogmatic, purposeful nature. So we'll see at the end of 2017, up until up until early February, if we go forward, we step forward several weeks, you'll see that this is January 24th. Then by January 31st, Mars is right at the end, and then by February 7th, let's go back, I think it's February 6th was the day. Oh, February 5th, you'll see Mars moves into Aries, and we don't have the exchange anymore. So from the end of December 2018 until February 5th, 2019, that exchange between Mars and Jupiter will be really important, will be quite powerful, and we'll see this bringing together of our inspirations and higher purposes of Jupiter and our philosophies, teachings, gurus, things that inspire us will be acted upon, where we can really act on that with a lot of courage and power and strength, which is Mars. Mars is the strength and the willingness to endure and to suffer for our principles, to do what we know is right, even though it might not be easy. Mars likes doing things that aren't easy. If you want a challenge to fix something that's broken or to get in there and fight for things that are worth fighting for, Mars is the planet that brings that about. So with Mars and Pisces, we're willing to fight for our principles and things that we know are right. In addition, this particular exchange, Jupiter is also aspecting Mars, right? He casts this one-way aspect, particularly when we get around the middle of January, or actually around the end of January, here January 24th, you'll see Mars moves into this exact, 21st, Mars moves into this exact aspect here with Jupiter, literally from about the 20th to about the 24th, 25th, there's almost an exact aspect as well between Jupiter to Mars. So the middle of January, the middle end of January, 16th, 17th to about the 25th or so is also a time when you can really feel that Guru's grace and that courageous action that you're taking now to align with it really, bear results and pay dividends and, really align you with the new course. So it's a great time as we go into the new year to get aligned with your teachings and put your teachings into practice. Do those things that you should be doing. Your meditations, your diet, your exercise, those things that make you strong and powerful, that align with your higher teachings, not just talking about it, but doing it. So anyway, it's a good time to be doing that at the end of 2018 and into 2019 with this Mars-Jupiter exchange. And on a personal level, wherever these planets are in your natal chart, wherever these houses fall in your natal chart, those areas of life will also be pulled together. So like I used the example of Gemini, you'll see 6th and 7th and 10th and 11th house energies pulled together. So again, it's really a good time to work through some of your relationship battles and also align with your work and your higher purpose. Again, if it was Leo, it was 4th and 5th house and 8th and 9th houses. So whatever your ascendant is, you can also look at the houses that Mars and Jupiter rule, and those will be areas of life where you can see a lot of progress now based on your courage, discipline, and higher teachings.